Allentown and the broader region was moved in ways that I don't think I've seen in the better part of my 30 years doing this work. I don't know quite exactly why. I think ad hoc is probably a good word for it. It was neighbors wanting to stay in touch with neighbors. You know, in the old days, if a house went up, the phone went with it and the ability to communicate along with it. And these days, you'd walk out with your telephone, and that ability to do that makes it easier to stay in contact by phone and contact in generally. The impression that we got was that it was a reasonably tight neighborhood, and with respect to, you know, a fair number of longer-term residents who knew each other. A lot of times, you know, people never get to know their neighbors. People's desire to step up and help, and wanting to step up and help, it almost forced community institutions to do the same thing. One of the first things that happened is that a local bank, KNBT, created a fund to which people could make donations. But you know, there's 630,000 people in the two counties here. We think like a region. The city of Allentown, 110,000 or so people. Still a small enough town that, you know, people in leadership positions, people who have community impact, we all know each other. The churches collectively held a service and a kind of fellowship gathering where people could come together and share their experiences and reassure each other as to how their lives were affected and what help they needed and who they'd been in touch with and, you know, who they've lost touch with and things like that. Came together, I think, when those two business leaders from Air Products and TD Bank said, we've got to have a coalesced effort. We've got to fill the void. So I recruited, believe it or not, 2 volunteers to lead the effort. 2 recently retired, very, very professional, very capable women who had project management background. And what we did was we researched these kinds of community-wide disaster relief efforts in other places, most notably in the New Orleans flooding.